Okay, so that's been updated. Oh crap, my camera's not plugged in. And fade. Hey guys, welcome to my stream. Today we are gonna go through some iHog stuff and get iHog ready for everything. I am trying something new and hi Pop Coding, welcome to the chat, and hey Katie 11318, welcome. I'm trying something new today, and I'm going to also be streaming a bit to YouTube as well this time, just, you know, trying to figure out where people will find me a little bit better. And also I have the chat going right now on the left hand side there. Today we are going to be working on iHog. It's a app for Hog consoles, so that's fun. But I need to actually figure out what the next version is going to be, and then get that one. So this version is currently set, and sorry, my video is a little laggy right now, but my audio should be okay. So I'll just switch to where you can see what's going on. This version, so v2020.6 is ready to be released. It's kind of just waiting there, ready to be released. That's done and testing. So I'm gonna actually mark this and put in a new Trello card here. So at the beginning, we're gonna do a bit more of the transition. There we go. So you can kind of see exactly what I'm working on. We're going to do a bit more of some cleanup in here before we actually get started coding wise. So this is what all I added in. The next thing I want to do is soft key implementation. So around the displays in Hog, there's some buttons up there, and that I want to get done. Pop Coding's asking, how am I finding SwiftUI so far? You're an iOS dev and started looking at SwiftUI yourself. I really like SwiftUI. I've released 2 apps with it, and it was really nice and really easy to get done. iHog is a bunch of buttons, so it was very programmatically. I came from web dev, though, a bit, so it was a lot easier to get that. It made a lot more sense than the standard UI kit did, and was a little bit easier to click rather than storyboards. My bad. So I like SwiftUI. I think it was good. WWDC will hopefully bring in a lot more some welcomed improvements. I'm looking forward for some core data and cloud and more like CloudKit type integration, because at some point, like in here, I want to start doing there's one in here that shows share between devices, so these are like custom show files that I want to start putting CloudKit in for. CloudKit. So I'm hoping that there's more like integration in that way, but I really enjoy SwiftUI. It's been a fun time, and I plan on going with it more. Yeah, UI kit I found is pretty hard and is pretty much a constant pain for me as well, or was for me as well. I've now switched since. Oh, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Pop Coding, definitely super appreciated. it's definitely like you said, a constant pain. It was a constant pain for me, and I just didn't want to take the time to learn it necessarily, more than I should have, especially because I started app development for a year-ish. I started learning Swift and trying to do app development like a year-ish before SwiftUI came out, and I was able to get one version done. But then after that, it was just, I was able to get one version of a really simple app, like a calculator type app done, in UI kit and storyboards, and then decided to just forego that as soon as SwiftUI was released. And so now that app has become more of a, that's more of the one that I can say, cool, I don't care about supporting the latest one, because it's just a free app that people can download. If they're upset that their free app is not working, then I don't have to do it. But that's just my opinion. That doesn't mean it's right. It's just an opinion that I have. Cool. So I have that soft key implementation. I really need to look at more performance type things. I have a lot of, once there comes to be a lot of like objects inside these show files, which I'm going to run the app soon. But once there starts to be a lot of objects inside here, there's a lot more that I need to do with it. The application Xcode can't be opened. That is not a good sign. Oh, did it update? App Store. I might have started this way too early, because go away Discord. Well, this is fun time. Updates. Ah, yes, it does. Woo. Yay, so I guess I won't be working on that. Working on any app development right now, because Xcode needs to install. Sometimes it goes really quickly, and sometimes it's real slow. I didn't realize that Xcode got updated last night. So that is completely my bad if you're still watching. For everyone watching right now. Let me see what else I can do. I'm going to go ahead and just release that version while I'm on here then, while Xcode. Yeah, apparently 11.5 is out. I had no idea. So I knew the Gold Master version had dropped. I just didn't know that it was the release version had dropped. So that's out. So while that's updating, let's see how long it had. Oh, great. That took no time. I'm still going to go ahead and just hit that release button since I'm up here. Yeah, I didn't either. So I'm glad we could both learn something through this. iHog. So this one's just been pending developer release, so it's just waiting. So yeah, if you haven't launched your Xcode today, might be worth it to launch it to make sure your requirements are done, so that you can get all that stuff installed. We're just gonna go ahead and release it now. Release. I've started trying out this like release update over 7-day period to see what happens with it. Right now my updates have just been super slow. I think my other app is, we'll go check that out before I get started with iHog and some developing stuff. This was kind of an impromptu stream. I started streaming tomorrow, though. I also plan on doing more of the work in iHog just to get that going. And that is a scheduled stream at 1:30 p.m. CDT tomorrow. Cool. So soft key performance. Great. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a new branch in here. Oh, that's weird. With that auto update, you're not seeing it on the Mac App Store? Huh. That's a bit odd. It should be there at some point. Maybe it's just maybe they did like a little bit of a phased release, and for some reason they decided it was time for some people to get it. So we're gonna do 2020-7 is the next one. And then I usually try to keep separate branches for each feature that I'm working on. So let's do soft keys. Soft key implementation. That would also be why if you don't update it through the app store, if you didn't download through the app store and you got it through the dev portal, then you won't be able to see it in the app store to update because there's nothing to update there. Makes sense slightly. Right click. I'm gonna make a tag here so that I know that I released 6. Released v2026. Great. And then we'll push the tags as well. I work in Git and GitHub. iHog is not an open source app. It's closed source, but I work on it in the open, so it's a weird one. Mainly I do that just because it is paid and I want to make sure it looks better. I've been contemplating releasing it as an open source to where people can actually see the code completely. I just haven't thought about I just haven't cleaned it up a lot. That needs to happen before it gets out, which is part of this performance thing. Like my code is a mess slightly. Oh, an internal error. Okay. It can just go to there. Great, and it's been released. It's been out, so that can be downloaded. I hope everyone's doing all right today. Just kind of going through this stream and seeing what happens. Cool. Okay. So I need to add in soft key implementation. So the fun fact is that everyone has a different console. So on all the consoles, this is an app that is used as like a companion to like actual hardware, to a hardware product. So the fun part is that each console has its own set of soft keys. So I really need to figure out that part. Cool, so we're gonna do, I need to add in a picker for the different consoles. I know what consoles there are, but I just want to make sure I'm calling them exactly what high-end is actually calling them and not what I would call them. Okay, so ooh. Do you know how app review works for apps that work with Yes, I do. I had to figure that out myself. If you're trying to do app review with a specific set of hardware and you make it clear that it's used with a specific set of hardware, then you need to just, I had to attach a video. They sent back what did they send back? They put a note and said, hey, it was rejected. Please attach a video of it actually working. Once I got it working, it decided to let consoles equals. Once I got it working, once I got a video sent in, they approved it, no problem. And then after that release, I set up a test flight with some people that I knew would test the app every now and then. And I've never been asked for a video since then. So I tried it. I don't know if doing test flight was needed to get that done, but with hardware like this, they just wanted a video showing that it worked. Yeah. I was surprised that I didn't have to go through as many hoops. So hog 418s, hog 4. Full bore 4. Roadhog 4. Issue. So I've gotten in the habit now since doing a lot more like code work recently. And anytime I need to put like quotes or parentheses or something like that and I forget, then I will actually I try, and whatever text editor I'm in, whether or not it's like something that's code wise, I try to highlight and put in quotes like this where they just add them on both sides, and most of the time it ends up erasing exactly what I had put in, and I get so frustrated. Okay, and then there's hedgehogs. Hedgehog 4, and then hog 4 PC / hoglet. The hoglet is just a wing to hog 4 PC, but most people think it's like the specific hardware console thing, so I'll just put it grouped like that. So it's just an accessory to control. It's like hardware accessory to control hog 4, the PC program, but it's fine. It's literally just the PC program. Cool. So then that is here. Data mode. Let's do. So pop coding. How long have you been working with iOS and app development stuff? Mark. Since 2012. Wow, you've been in it a lot longer than I have. Have you liked all the changes? Are you mainly in Objective-C or Swift? Swift in 2014. Nice. What is this going to be called? Soft keys. Okay. That's cool. So I'm based in Austin, so a lot of the people are going over here, but the app is 100% Swift now. That's awesome. It's cool that y'all were able to make that transition. I know that doesn't happen all the time. Or it takes a really long time to get that transition going. So right now I'm trying to get a picker implemented so that I can choose the different, so that we can choose the different options here, the different consoles. Houston's all right. It's a lot more humid. It's quiet, but yeah, it's decently similar. Austin's like the oasis inside Austin, inside Texas, though. You have a lot more liberals, and it's pretty fun. I've lived in this area pretty much my whole life. Console selection equals 1. So I've lived here pretty much my whole life, so it's been what console do I have here? I have a full bore. So it's been a fun time. I don't think I would leave Austin necessarily if I had to leave Texas. Blank console selection. Label for this. Yeah, but the Bay Area is cool. I have some friends out in the Bay Area also. They have fun. I visited them a year or so ago, and it was fun. I'd go back if I had to. Console selection. Content. So I need to do a for loop, and I'm actually going to go ahead and open this up a bit more. Where is my pickers? I just want a picker, like a picker, so that you can just tap and choose rather than scroll through. Oh, so your app needs to be iOS 11. So you'd have to go through certain spots. Yeah, so unfortunately, with SwiftUI, as I'm sure you know, it is only iOS 13 and above right now, so that's kind of a hinder for that SwiftUI stuff. But I have never had to do back support yet, since I just kept pushing that app forward from UIKit to SwiftUI, and I just said, forget it. If you needed it to stay, it'll stay. There's button color picker. So hopefully you're able to get that transition to go smoothly. Consoles dot count. Playing 0. Yeah, you might have to wait a little bit to get it ready, and also SwiftUI, like there's a bunch of stuff I know people want, like to be able to dynamically switch views. I want to be able to, like, I can't use switch cases right now in views, and it'd be really nice to just be like, cool, if this variable did this, then we can go to that, and if not, do that without having to do a bunch of if statements. So that would be nice. So there's still some improvement. So hopefully you'll be able to hit those when that happens. That's building. I think I did that correct. So basically, this picker, it's going to change that console selection, which is the state variable that I made up here, and then it's going to from the state variable, it'll adjust, and then so once you tap on it, it'll adjust. I'm going to go ahead and build that and then see real quick. And see how that happens. Yeah, it is. It was weird that whenever I kept trying to do it, that I couldn't do switch cases, but you can do if statement. So I have I have an extension on some kind of on a UI body, I think, to determine what kind of device you're on, and then you can do ifs. So if I'm on this device, then I can show this kind of deal, because I have some features that are specific to iPad and some that are specific to iOS in this app. So the switch, so you can at least like make do with if statements. It just doesn't look as clean as the switch statements do. It's like, and if you try to put a switch statement in there or a switch case, then it's very odd. It's like we don't support control flow, and then you try to do an if statement and it's like, okay, you're good, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. That's fine, I guess. All right, it's building. Sorry, I had a text from I will be right back. I actually have to go check something out real quick around the house and figure out what's going on with why my simulator can't run. But I'm going to try building it again and see if it runs again. So I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. There was a dark spot on the roof, and we just had a bunch of rain. So we didn't know, we still don't know if it's been actually, if it was something that was here or not before we came in, or if it's something that just happened. Luckily, we are renting, so it's a bit better there that way. Cool. So show done. Let's do under programming, just saying it. Yeah, same. I also hope it's nothing too serious. I don't think it will be. I mean, I'm hoping it's not. We'll find out. Hog 4, 418, Floor 4, Roadhog 4, Rack Hog, Hedgehog, Hog 4 PC, and Hoglet. Cool. But I didn't want to have to go into another place. So what I'm hoping to do, as I just need to apply the right thing, is get that kind of stepper in there, that selection. Not so I just need to do the segmented picker. It is really nice to do to be able to change like this. And here, it's just figuring out where the curly braces end. Dot picker. And then we want a segmented picker style. And that should be what I need to actually work, and it should look fine. A lot of people really like SwiftUI because of that preview thing that can happen, but it's not that I don't like SwiftUI, it's not that I don't like the picker. I mean, the preview thing, it's that I haven't quite figured out how to get the picker to work with like core data and stuff like that. Console selection label. What am I doing wrong here? Nope, segmented is the thing. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Segmented has an extra M. Yep, you are correct, pop coding. That is one of the worst parts about coding and using an API is you have to make sure everything's spelled right. So now it's going to build and launch. There we go. Oh, yeah, I don't know how many times I'm always wrong because, well, especially when like auto selection isn't working completely, then autocomplete's not working completely, then I'm like, oh, what is even the point of using a fancy IDE? Cool. So I have to launch a show but I should be able to access that. Maybe it would look better. Is that there's too many buttons here to actually choose which one. So instead of a segmented picker style, what if we do a wheel picker? Oh, what's it? And then sometimes I just hope that yeah, I know, but I need I gotta go look that up real quick. Wheel picker, SwiftUI. I don't need to hide, I just need the wheel picker. Did not tell me. Wheel picker style SwiftUI. Do you want to come in? streaming with animals is great. Especially when they start yelling to be able to be walked in, to be able to come in. You're not connected. Yep. That one was a cat that was yelling at the door. Not only, and then there's also 2 dogs in here as well. But yeah, there she is now. Okay, so wheel picker style, that might work better. I'm just trying to figure out what works better, like picker style wise, from here to an iPad. There probably would have been more than enough space on the iPad. Yeah, we have the 4 animals. They're quite big. I mean, it's quite a lot of animals to have. Part of the reason why we had to move into a house. Hi, Sydney. I don't want to play a programming. We'll just let it be a normal picker for now. iHog app. Think about changing picker style from iPhone to iPad. Cool. We'll just leave it as a normal picker. It's fine. Now the next thing I need to do though is update that on update that. So how I have that currently going is a binding there. That will work. So I need to go into my settings here. So I used a property wrapper for my user settings. That way they can be an observed variable also, which is cool, so that the app can dynamically react to that. Because you never know when you're going to go from one console to another. So I just need to figure out where to put that necessarily. We'll just put it at the end here, or right here after precision, because this is where all of the console settings are. App user default, console, chosen console, default value is, I should just say default value is the Roadhog. Var chosen console string. In theory, this will not get changed very often. Just depends on what console the user's on, and usually these consoles stay the same. So these consoles are really used in like the live event type settings, so like concerts, theaters, trade shows, stuff like that. So in theory, this setting should really just be one and done for a long time, and then it might change to like a different console in a couple weeks. So it may or may not be used a lot, but we'll see. Okay. Here we need to save to actually get that updating. So we'll say, instead of declaring this binding, we're actually going to kind of do what I did for the slider up here, where it has a value binding, and it has that getter and then that setter. in there, and that's when we update, is once it's completely set. So to do that, we're going to just make a whole new binding variable, self dot console selection set, and inside the setter here, new value in self dot console selection equals new value, and then self dot update console. And we need to go make I need to go make a function now for update console. Update console. Defaults dot set value for any. What's my value here? It's gonna be console at console selection for key chosen console. Cool. Okay, and then I actually need to go make a view now. So that's really just the settings window for that part. So I should probably make a checklist in here of what I need to get done to call this feature done. Settings. Then we need a view. I need a view for buttons. I think that's gonna be actually the view for buttons may be around 1, 2, 3. So for sure, if a console has 2 screens, then that's going to be 1, 2, 3 rows. View for buttons. We'll just do 1 row at a time. Make view change based on settings. Okay. So settings is done. And view for buttons. We're gonna just make a new group here for that, actually. Soft key. Wow, spelling again. Soft keys. New file. SwiftUI. So I'm just going to make 1 soft key button first off, because then I'm going to need to repeat based on what button it is. But it's time to stand. I know. How many stand hours do I have? I have 6. Okay. Cool. So let's do var title string. And then since I'm not really passing anything through, I can't actually utilize that canvas view or that preview I think. But then it just always kills everything. We're just gonna keep going without it for now. Title. Button 1. Oh, it started buffering a little bit. I'm guessing it's because of this. We're just gonna stop it that way. Yeah, I need to figure out how to, I might end up at some point whenever we all went on COVID-19 lockdown, I left my HDMI output from my MacBook, so the USB-C to HDMI thing at work, and I think once I'm able to at least grab it again, then I'll get, okay, cool, it's fine now, great. Once I'm able to grab that again, then I'm going to figure out how to stop building. It's fine. Then I'm going to take the capture card that I usually use for my Switch and just plug it into the other computer and run the stream that way. I think it'll be easier in the long run, and it'll be fine. Okay, what I need though is to make this have padding around it. And then I also need to have, I guess it doesn't have to have equal width. Padding, and then a background color. Color dot gray. And we want the foreground color to be dot white. Why not? And then I'm going to make a new file, softkey test. So basically it's just going to be a test key view, so I can put it inside content view and build it and see it. Softkey button. So for each, just need a range 0 to 5. I think that'll get a list going. Yeah. Okay, great. And we're just gonna add it here to navigation enums, case, test. So in theory, these are this is going to appear from a button on just the front panel, but I'll just make it happen here. For now, I just want to get it working right and then make it go into everything else. Dot tag. First, actually, I need to do a dot. Yeah, dot tag. And then oh, thanks, Pop Coding. Have a good day. Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it and appreciate you watching the other coffee app. I'll probably do that one on Monday again, just as I plan. But I appreciate it, and I will hopefully talk to you soon. And again, thanks for the follow. It's awesome. I love it when people follow and find this useful. Tabs.test. Sweet. See ya. All right, so let's keep going. We're just waiting for that simulator to start since I built it last. Here it goes. Hide. Oh, there it goes. Hide player. All right, it's building. It just takes a little bit of time. And it got built. Great. So let's see here. We have programmer setting. That's not what I wanted. Under more. Oh, I don't have an actual like way to select it because I don't have a tab item. Well, that's would be useful, right? I also think I'm only going to be going for like 30-ish more minutes, and then I have to start doing like some housework around here because that never stops, even though the rest of life does. Oh. But that's not what should be happening. That should take me to a different thing. Why is that happening like that? What did I do wrong here? Oh, because it's in a... That's not what I wanted then. Let's just change this to a V-stack then, and I think that should be better and looking better. So for the next couple, like, random streams, like whenever the ones that are not on the schedule, on my Twitch channel, those are probably going to be, working on this version of iHog, and getting this up and going. Okay, so it should be maybe. Oh, that's why it's taking so long. Not now. Programming looks right. But it's still like, why is it not? Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, because it's called name, that's why. Oh, do I have to edit it, like, and drop it here to actually access it? But it didn't stick. This is a little bit weird. I guess instead of trying to do it this way, I should just implement it the way I wanted to, which is going to be in here. There's going to just be a thing that says soft keys, so that you can access them. But should that be in objects and actions? No, I'll just, yeah, do it. Oh, I could really, no, I'll leave that like it is. Okay, so I'll just access it like I thought we were going, like I wanted to from the beginning. Just delete that. Move to trash. I just don't want it anymore. We're gonna discard this change. And then, what else are we gonna, oh, I gotta go into I know there was some stuff in content view I did. I don't know what, there it goes. And let's just discard that change. Cool, and hit that guy to go, and let's see what happens. All right, and it's building, so we're just gonna wait for it to build. Cool. Let's see, it's still built. It's just gonna take some time to build. I don't know why it takes so long to build sometimes. So let's try it again. I just stopped it and we're gonna reload it and see where that goes. I just saw that someone tuned in, so welcome. We're just working on some iHog stuff, so another SwiftUI app that I'm building, that I've built and I've released. Actually, at the beginning of the stream, I ended up releasing this version, the previous version of iHog, so that's fun. And it's out there and should be out there in the App Store, probably ready to be updated by some people tomorrow or the next night. Hard to say exactly when it will be happening, but it'll be happening at some point. Yeah. So if you have any SwiftUI questions or Swift questions or any questions for me, like right now while we're waiting on this build to happen, then feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. Just trying to chat a bit also while doing this. It's just a very impromptu stream. It's finally running. Or will be running soon. Oh, there we go. It's going. No, don't go. Great. I'm just making sure that it works as expected. There's 5 tabs underneath there. So now we're going to go and implement another button in here that will allow us to get these soft keys. So that's under the front panel option. Programmer small. I was saying earlier how SwiftUI doesn't have like switch cases, and this is the one point where I wish that switch cases were a thing, especially when I'm trying to figure out how this is working. Hey Nicolans, how's it going? Just working on this project. But this is the one case that I wish that SwiftUI actually like had switch case support was right there. Hopefully your day is going well. Nicolans, sorry if I just butchered how that was supposed to be pronounced. So what I want to do is actually add in another button here, and we're going to change the chosen sheet to be a different number. We're going to say 3. Ooh, apparently I have not formatted that since I like to use 2 spaces, so I'm going to go ahead and commit that first. I have not been working in master this whole time. Awesome. I really thought that I was working in not master. No, I haven't been. Okay, great. I mean, I really shouldn't be working in just 2027, but that's fine. Yay, Git for and keeping up with what I'm doing. We're just going to yeah, I wish it did. I just want to add the programming part to it. Stage. Change formatting. Push. What's going on here? Programming small. Oh, I think. No, and it's just taking a long time to think. That's what's happening here. Yeah, no, it's definitely annoying. I've run into it a couple times where it's been a bit annoying for me. I mean, it's fine, I guess, but I'd much rather it have like I'd rather have switch statements so that so that I don't have to be like, if it's this, then if else, and else if type deals. Commit that now and actually push it. Great. So we're going to say 3 equals soft keys here. Because this would be a perfect case for like an enum to switch on. Actually, I still might switch that to an enum. I've started using enums a lot, enumerations a lot more for like navigation things so that I don't have to keep a hold of this. Like here I have these settings enum that just I keep raw values associated to. Sure, I'm still specifying equals this, equals that, but then it's a lot more readable in the show file and the code below. Yeah, they've been fun. I've enjoyed it a bit more now since I've learned I've read it in a blog post once and then decided that that's what I needed to do. Encoders, actions, objects. It was the first time hearing, well, yeah, it was the first, I didn't read it in a blog post, I read it in Stack Overflow. And that was the first time that I saw that like enums could work really well for that. And then soft keys. And this enum isn't going to go in my navigations enum file just because there isn't really a need for it to right now. It's only used in this one view, so it doesn't need to be accessed everywhere. So we can actually even make this private. And at some point I need to go change all of these chosen sheets equals that. So I keep 2 per here, so I need another H stack in here. Yeah, and then an H stack with a button. Action. Self dot chosen sheet equals. Oh, I see. So we'll just call this sheets. Ooh, naming things super hard sometimes, and now it doesn't really matter as long as I call it something that works. Sections. Section. Front panel sections. Cool. Equals front panel sections dot encoders. No dot. Did I have soft keys there? Yeah. Sure. For now, that works. And then we need a label here. Soft keys. And put some padding in so that the touch target's nice. At least I can read that a bit better, that it shows front panel sections.softkeys.raw value. So at least I know that means we're going to get that soft keys section. So now if I go to the programming part, if we scroll down a bit in there, we have soft keys. It's not doing anything right now, but that's awesome. So that's a good spot. How long have I been doing iOS dev? So I've been working with app development for about 2 to 3 years now, I think. I started like a year before SwiftUI was released, and it's about to be a year since SwiftUI has been released. So I've been doing it for about 2 years. I jumped straight into Swift. And then worked with storyboards for a bit to try to get one of my other apps done. And I did. I was able to successfully get it done and submitted. And I think that was like in December of that year, right before your SwiftUI came out. And then SwiftUI was announced, and I worked my entire summer to get that app rewritten in SwiftUI. And so this app, which is out and about, is also all in SwiftUI. So I'm now primarily only developing with SwiftUI and not UIKit. I haven't ran into anything where I absolutely have to fall back to UIKit. So it's been a fun time figuring out all the workarounds that I have to do for SwiftUI. So right here, else if self.chosen sheet equals 3. Yeah, I agree. I think I agree that SwiftUI was so much easier. It was way easier to wrap my head around, especially because, like, I'll be honest, so this app here is a lot of buttons that just keep repeating, and like if I go select the show, I'm gonna add these things. It might take a little bit, but this app was really based on like repeating things, and I could just not wrap my head around how to write a AppKit app in Swift like programmatically to have these buttons just repeat over and over. And once SwiftUI was announced, then it just all clicked and it fit very nice, and it fit especially with trying to do these programmatically like this. Yeah, figuring out how the delegates get into SwiftUI though can be quite annoying, I've found. But yeah, no, I think SwiftUI is a lot easier. I also came from a little bit of a web development. I had done web dev for about 2 years before that, and dived into like Vue and React a bit, heavy in those. And like my job where I don't do any kind of app development, but they were doing a web project in Angular, and so all this kind of stuff just kind of fit a lot better. SwiftUI just kind of fit in that paradigm a lot more, and so it was a lot easier to pick up once it was released. What are we gonna call? We're gonna call SoftKey buttons. I know I don't have it yet, but that's what I need. So I need to make one, or else it's gonna get upset. SoftKey buttons, a SoftKey button, and then a SoftKey buttons. If that's not A programming, A plus, like variable naming, I don't know what is. We're gonna do just a V stack real quick. Let's see if that works. So like basically what I'm doing right now is, this is a very hardware based app. It's like an app for a piece of hardware. And so what's happening here is on this hardware, there are, while that's building, I can explain exactly what I'm doing and building here and trying to get a feature working for. So on this hardware, there are buttons across the screen, across the top of the screen for you to tap. These are accessible. So there's these silver buttons here that you can kind of see in this picture. And these can be accessible to the user, and you can program these correctly. And so what I'm trying to do is get these buttons to be inside the app. I have all of the front panel done. So all these buttons and these faders done, and then I have so I'm just trying to get these buttons here, so I'm trying to figure out that design wise right now. Oh, are you done? Do you want out? Okay, hold on, the cat wants out. I'm letting her out. She just yelled. I'll hold her for a bit longer. No, it's fine. I got her. You can't go outside. Your sister's eating. And the other cat's eating, so she actually couldn't leave. So soft keys. Oh, I forgot to set that to true. To actually be able to present the modal in there. Soft when I press that button, so it becomes self dot is presented equals true. That should get me what I want now. So while that's building, I actually want to at some point, and I'll probably do this in this release also, I am going to there we go. I am going to want to do a thing. What was I gonna do? Sorry, I got distracted. There were a bunch of noises. I want, add a done done button to the top of modals. Low priority though. I'm gonna put this Trello card link inside the chat just because it can be useful to people if they want to. So that Trello card, so if you want to follow along, go for it. This app is closed source, so you can't see the code necessarily. I've been contemplating making it open source though, just because it would be having more SwiftUI apps out there is not a bad thing. But it's kind of a mess right now with how I have it organized, so I haven't released it yet. Also, it's a paid app, so I also didn't know how I wanted to... Yay, we have a help button. I also didn't know how I wanted that to work necessarily, or if I cared too much, if someone could get the code, download it, and use it. I mean, I don't mind, because I'm building it out in the open. But if you wanted to see what's coming up next, what I'm currently doing, what I'm working on, you can go check out that Trello link that I put in there in the chat on Twitch. Oh, which should come here too. Great. Okay, so what I'm doing is that works, but the borders don't work correctly. I do have two open source projects. I have an ArtNet universe converter. I can go get those real quick. Actually, that would be nice to put on here, and maybe I'll start linking. So I have this coffee app that I'm working on Mondays on Twitch. So like I started streaming this the other week, like from scratch, building that app from scratch. So there's this coffee app. Here's what it looked like the last time I updated the GIF. Once it closes, it did that, and then next time we're going to do the edit window. And then I also have this other app. It's a fixture universe converter. It has to deal with the lighting industry, but this one's also open source, and you can see everything with it. It is also a mess code-wise. This one is kind of my this is kind of my app that like I will destroy once iOS 14 is released. If there's features in iOS 14, no, get down, you two, get down. If there's features in iOS 14 that I want to release, that I want to use, then this is the app. This ArtNet Universe Converter is the one that I'll just completely destroy and make iOS 14 only. Cool. Okay, so I wanted to, in here, apply the hardware button styles. Button style. Style. HW button. Did I do something wrong? I probably did. Unresolved identifier. Let me figure out why. Yep, go back up. Hardware button. Sorry, I just probably didn't apply it correctly. Sydney. Yeah, I didn't do the names correct. That should... I don't really care if it's been Oh, because of how I'm doing this. Okay. Can I... So, yeah, this is what happens whenever I'm just trying to put things together so I can do it, so that I can make it work rather than trying to get it done. Determine background color. Oh, well, can I just do a color.gray? True. Actually, we want that to be false. Thanks. Yeah, it's been fun. I just kind of started doing them open source. I think, and like I said, I really want to do this one also open sourced, mainly because like it would be useful for people to see, and I think more SwiftUI stuff out there is not a bad thing. It's just something that I haven't done yet, just because it doesn't look right. I mean, it doesn't look clean at all in this. And that hardware button style really shouldn't have depended on everything in here. So that's bad. Like, that's one of the things that, like, I'd have to clean up a lot. But you should, I mean, it took a while for me to come up with ideas on open source projects. I mean, I don't think anyone will actually contribute to a lot of these. Maybe to the coffee brewing app once it's in a released state. I mean, that one's still very, very new. I've only worked on it 3 times now, I think, because the first time was I've only worked on it 3 times now, so it's not even anywhere close to being like finished and able to be released out in the open, like on the App Store. But I think it's still, having something out there is still something nice for people to go and look at. Like, I've gone through tons of projects and I'm still learning stuff, like, you never stop learning, but that is something that, like, open source allows you to do, is figure that out more and see more examples of how people are using the features in the real world. Oh, it's there. But, okay, so cool. That goes, okay, so, but it's not doing the nifty. Okay, so I'll have to fix the state there also. Fix state for buttons. Alright guys, I know some of you guys just tuned in, but I have to go do things around, and I think this is kind of a good stopping point. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. CDT, I am going to continue this. So if you want to be notified when I'm going to do that, when I'm going to be working on this app again, then hit the follow button. I would love for you guys to come back and see how this goes the rest of the time. So Mondays, Fridays at 1:30 p.m. CDT, Central Daylight Time. Oh, thanks for the follow. Nicolans, thank you. 1:30 p.m. CDT, Monday, Friday, I'm going to work on SwiftUI apps, which is great. Wednesdays are my fun days where I stream Animal Crossing, and if there's any random pop-up streams in between that, I am going to stream either iHog or the ArtNet one. Monday is the days that are dedicated for strictly the coffee brewing app. So again, thank you so much. I'm going to get off of here, but I hope that you guys tune in later or rewatch this over again. Again, thanks a lot, and I will see y'all next time. Sydney, I know you're eating everything because you want to, but you can't.